Hey you guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel. This is the Alicia Dion channel and my name is Alicia. This is where we talk about everything gut health, bloating, IBS symptoms and literally any other thing you can think of. If you want a video on it, just drop it in the comment box below. While you're here, why not hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and let's jump right in. This week we're talking about how to do the low FODMAP diet right, including how to start it in order to reduce your IBS symptoms. There are three phases we're going to talk about later on in this video. The elimination phase, which is phase 1, the reintroduction phase, which is phase 2, and third and finally the maintenance phase. But first off, let's start with what is it? What is the low FODMAP diet? So the low FODMAP diet was designed by scientists at Monash University in Australia in 2004, and they designed it in order to help people who have IBS deal with things that were triggering their flare-ups and causing them to have bloating, constipation, diarrhea, and all those horrible symptoms that you probably know far too well. But FODMAP isn't actually a food. FODMAPs is an acronym which stands for fermentable oligodimonosaccharides and polyols. And these are carbohydrates, and they're carbohydrates that the bacteria in your stomach absolutely loves to eat. And if you've seen my other videos on gut health, then you know all about how good it is when bacteria is ready to receive the food that you eat. So you would think that this is a good thing. However, when it comes to FODMAPs, the short chain carbohydrates or sugars that are causing you problems, they're basically not absorbed by the small intestines very well. And because they're not absorbed by the small intestines very well, they can lead to some nasty symptoms. Also, when bacteria in your gut break down foods, they produce gas and water, which distend your abdomen and cause bloating, stomach cramps, constipation, diarrhea, and so much more. So the reasoning behind the FODMAP diet is that if you can cut these things out that are causing the bloating and causing your small intestines to not be happy with you, then hopefully you can reintroduce them slowly and figure out which ones in particular are causing you trouble, because it's very unlikely that every FODMAP in the world is the reason that you're bloated. The chances are that it's just a few of them or a combination of some of them that's causing you more trouble. And the FODMAP diet allows you to learn about your food triggers. It allows you to learn about food sensitivities and things that just don't sit right with you. Now I'm gonna level with you. The FODMAP diet is not an easy thing to do, and it's also not a long-term thing to do. If you take away anything from this video today, I need you to hear me. It is not a long-term solution. It is a learning experience that can really help with your symptoms, reduce IBS symptoms, and help you live a healthier life, but it's not a long-term solution. It's kind of a food experiment that will teach you a lot along the way. The other thing I want to make clear before we jump into the 3 stages of the FODMAP diet is that the FODMAP diet is not a diet. And by diet, I mean the stereotypical definition of the word diet, which is to lose weight or to cut out a group of foods because you think it's going to help you lose fat quicker or build muscle quicker. It's nothing to do with that. This is about learning about your body. This is about listening to all of those cues where it's begging you not to eat certain foods, or it's begging you to continue eating other foods because you enjoy them and they're delicious. So throughout your FODMAP diet, if you do decide to jump in and do this, you need to make sure that whilst you're cutting out high FODMAP foods, you need to be replacing them with low FODMAP foods to ensure that you're getting enough nutrition and enough caloric intake. Also, it's highly advised that when you do the FODMAP, you do it under the supervision of a dietitian or doctor. So let's jump in. Phase 1 is elimination. This phase can last between 3 and 8 weeks. And during this time, you cut out all high FODMAP foods. And this is so that you can get a base point. It's so that you can get rid of all of your symptoms and learn how your body functions without any of these small chain carbohydrates that could be causing you bloating, gas, irritation, diarrhea, constipation, and all of that jazz. Now I'm gonna level with you. When you go on the internet, there are a lot of different lists in terms of what is actually a high FODMAP food and what is a low FODMAP food. And remember, when I say FODMAP food, it just means that it has a certain short chain carbohydrate which is causing you to bloat because your body's not too happy with it. Now, if you're going to do the FODMAP diet, I am going to advise this to you. Get your list of high FODMAP and low FODMAP foods from the original source. If you log on to monashfodmap.com, that is where they have the original list of foods from the university that designed the FODMAP diet. So if you go on there, you can see what foods they think are high FODMAP and low FODMAP, and who better than right from the horse's mouth. They also have a mobile app which you can pay a small amount of money for, which can really help you to make your way through the FODMAP diet, track what's going on, and deal with it in a compact way, and you can also use it on the go. I'm not just going to sit here and list the whole thing off to you, but it's a lot of foods. But you also have a lot of low FODMAP foods, which, like I said earlier, is really important that you incorporate so that you're not being malnourished. Also, one of the cheeky ways that you can get around the wheat and barley problem is just eat gluten-free bread. But whilst you're on this diet, you can still eat things like pineapples, strawberries, eggs, all non-processed meats, cornflakes, oats, dark chocolate, maple syrup, table sugar, peanuts, walnuts, and so much more. So I think a good way to think about this when you're going into the FODMAP diet so that it's not so overwhelming about all the foods that you're cutting out is look at what you can eat. And also there's loads of recipes out there for people who are doing the low FODMAP diet, so make sure that you do some good reading before you jump in so that you don't feel like you have absolutely nothing that you can eat and you feel trapped and you feel like you just aren't going to be able to make it through the 3 to 8 weeks that the elimination process takes. Now, they advise that you move on to phase 2 once your symptoms are considerably reduced. Now, a little bit of advice from me would be that I would say that you want to have no to very few IBS symptoms for at least a week before you leave phase 1, just to make sure that it's not a blip and that you are actually experiencing a massive reduction in your IBS symptoms. Phase 2 is reintroduction, and this is the part where you get to bring back all the foods you love. So let's say that it took 6 weeks for you to go through the elimination process. The next thing you're going to do is choose a high FODMAP food and reintroduce it and see how your body handles it. Please, please keep a symptom diary. You did not go through all of this hard work. You did not cut out all of these foods for 3 to 8 weeks to then not remember what your symptoms were when you finally reintroduce some of your foods. Like, 8 weeks is a long time, so make sure that you are giving yourself the bloody respect you deserve and make sure that you are writing it down, don't self-sabotage, and have it ready so that you know everything about what that food does to your system. Now, you want to reintroduce a food over the course of 3 days, and by this you want to do it in different amounts. So the first day you might have it in a meal. You're going to see how you progress over the next 24 hours and see if those symptoms change at all. If you don't see any negative impacts, then you might introduce more garlic, a larger quantity of garlic in the next meal that you eat. And then the third day is when you can introduce almost an excessive amount. Obviously, excessive amounts of anything isn't healthy, but I'm talking a very garlicky meal, and then you can see if you have any symptoms from that. If you go through that with flying colours, then garlic isn't your problem, it's not your issue, and you can continue to live your life with the beauty of things like garlic bread, pasta with garlic in it. I love garlic. Garlic is amazing. You can keep garlic in your diet from here. You don't have to eliminate it again when you're reintroducing other foods, but you can only do one food every 6 to 7 days. So as a rule, I would say 1 a week. See how your symptoms go for the next 48 to 72 hours because digestion can take that long. And also, if your muscle is in spasm or peristalsis isn't functioning properly within your digestive system, it could slow it down and the symptoms could kind of be on a delayed onset system. So it's really important here that you give your body time to react and that you listen to it. You need to be listening to your symptoms and you need to have been tracking your symptoms. Even if there aren't any, you need to have written down on a piece of paper that you haven't had any, because it's really weird when you look back at IBS. You might be like, oh, that flare-up wasn't that bad, and then my boyfriend will turn to me and be like, are you kidding me? You were rolling around in pain. It's rose tinted glasses. That's what it is. It's rose tinted glasses, and you just need to be honest with yourself. And if you have no symptoms, document no symptoms, and that way you know for sure because you can trust what you've written in that time. And if you want, you can even vlog it if you'd rather vlog the experience, or you could do little voice recording notes. You could do that as well. I just love pen and paper because not only can I see it, but it's also not going to get accidentally erased. It's not going to corrupt. It's there, it's in a book, it's ready to go. So you've reintroduced garlic into your diet and you've had no symptoms. Now it's time to reintroduce something else. Let's say that you're going to reintroduce apples. I've chosen apples for one reason. There's lots of different ways to eat apples. There's also a lot of different ways to eat things like custard and milk. So temperature and cooking of products might change how your body deals with FODMAPs. Everybody is different. So what you might want to do is reintroduce apples the same way you reintroduce garlic and see how you tolerate them. And if you have no symptoms, again, listening to your body for at least 72 hours after you trial these foods, what I would then advise you do is you try cooked apples. Just because you're okay with raw apple doesn't mean that your body's going to tolerate cooked apple. So again, be very careful here, go slowly, go carefully, and make sure you're writing down everything that happens so that you have the information ready so that you can reduce your IBS symptoms as much as physically possible. Finally, when you've gone through all of your different foods, it's time to move on to phase 3. Phase 3 is called the maintenance phase. And this is where you take all of your hard work, everything that you've learned about your body, your system, and how it reacts to different foods, and you compile a diet for you to continue for the rest of your life. Diet has a very negative connotation with it. I'm just talking a meal plan. I'm talking the food you're going to enjoy and love and eat for the rest of your life. So maybe you had a really good reaction with eating 1 apple a day, but when you ate 3, you found that you were really bloated. So then you can say that I'm not going to stop eating apples, but maybe I'll eat 2 a week. And that means that you're going to keep feeding that healthy bacteria in your gut that's able to break down apples, but it's also going to make sure that it's not making you bloat because you've cut out FODMAPs that are found in apples, causing you to bloat, have gas, diarrhea, constipation, and so much more. Finally, through the maintenance stage, it's so important to remember that your body changes all the time. I used to be able to not eat greens. Now I can eat them pretty happily, and that's because your body changes. The bacteria in your stomach changes, your gut microbiome changes. Everything is constantly altering. And also through times of stress or through times of panic, your body's going to react in a different way. So it's so important that you continue to listen to your body. If this continues to have amazing progression for you for the next few years, brilliant. But you also might find that in 6 or 7 years down the line, that all of a sudden you're getting IBS symptoms again. You could repeat the FODMAP diet and get a completely different answer to the one you got this time around. Foods that caused you no problems might now be your trigger foods, and foods that you used to not be able to eat, you might not be able to eat with ease. So make sure that you continue listening to your body. It can't talk, so it gives us signs. So it's so important that we listen, watch, and pay attention to them so that we can change and alter our lives in order to have the healthiest possible lifestyle that we can. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this video. I really hope it helped. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure to jump on down to that subscribe button if there's anything you want to see coming your way. If you have any questions, and if you have any information that you think I've missed that you think is going to help other people watching this video, please drop it in the comment section below. It's all about learning from each other, being inclusive and helping each other through IBS, bloating, and other horrible gut health problems. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at Scribbles by Alicia. I'll link my handle for you right there and also in the comment section below. Thank you so much for tuning in. I always have the best time filming these videos, and I'll see you next week. Bye!